Are you a beginner triathlete who's not sure which bike to buy for a triathlon and don't want to spend a lot of money? Well, in this video, I'm going to give you 5 tips on how you can buy a budget bike to use in your next triathlon. What's up everyone, Jeremy Tri here. This video is for those out there who want to save money buying their first bike for a triathlon. Saving money on your very first triathlon bike is a great way to ease into the sport, which can be pretty expensive, but it doesn't need to be expensive all the time. There are many more ways to spend than save, but you can save on a lot of things, including a bike. When I first started shopping for triathlon bikes, I was surprised to see that many popular options cost more than a couple months of rent payment. Most recommended triathlon bikes are thousands and thousands of dollars, but I personally done many triathlons in a $200 single speed, a $500 road bike, and a $900 triathlon bike. So if you're like me and don't want to spend thousands and thousands of dollars on one bike and like to save money in general, here are 5 tips to consider when buying your first bike for a triathlon. Number 1, buy used bikes online. Whether it be Craigslist, OfferUp, Facebook groups, or local bike forums, bikes depreciate in value a lot, even after a couple of years, so be on the lookout for used bikes. Number 2, buy bikes that are at least 1 year old. This tip is very similar to number 1, but just as an example, in 2014, I bought a 2013 brand new Giant Defy 5 road bike. This bike was only 1 year old, but it was about $200 cheaper than the 2014 version. So when you go to your local bike shop, you can see all the fancy brand new models. Look for the models that are at least 1 year old and you can get some good savings on those. Number 3, buy a road bike and convert it to a triathlon bike setup. So the reason for this tip is you can find a lot of really good road bikes brand new for under $1,000, but the same cannot be said for triathlon bikes. Even at the lowest end of triathlon bikes, these can be $1,000, $1,100, $1,200, $2,000 in price. So this is exactly what I did with my Giant Defy road bike. So typically at a very high level, a road bike to tri-bike conversion entails clip-on aero bars, which you put on the handlebars so that you can get in that aero position while on the road bike, and then raising the seat height and then adjusting the fore-aft positioning of the seat as well. There's a lot of fine-tuning that goes into a road bike to tri-bike conversion. Let me know in the comments down below if you would like me to do a video on that, but otherwise I would suggest if you want to do this, go to a professional so that they can really get you dialed in onto that road bike with that tri-bike setup. Number 4, if you still are not comfortable dropping hundreds of dollars on a bike, you can always rent or borrow. You can rent the bike from your local bike shop and use that on race day, or borrow a bike from a friend or family member, if they trust you, that is. If you go this route of renting or borrowing, I suggest you take the bike out for at least 1 to 2 rides before the race so that you can get used to the bike's gears and shifting and its handling in general. Alright, tip number 5. This is a general tip that I say often in my videos, and it's that the best bike is really the one that fits you best, that's safe to use, and that you're comfortable with. This can be a triathlon bike, a road bike, a hybrid bike, a mountain bike, a cruiser, a single speed, etc. I have a friend that did a sprint triathlon with a bike from Walmart. Anything really could work as long as it fits you, it's safe to ride, and it's efficient. I would add that the bike should ideally be tuned up. You don't want to be doing a triathlon on a bike with a rusted chain, brakes that don't work. Make sure the bike works well, and fits you well. For example, back in college, I bought a brand new $200 single speed road bike off Amazon, and I used this bike to commute from my apartment to campus and all around campus. I used this bike in about 3 or 4 sprint triathlons. It worked for me, I knew the bike well, and it's all I had at the time, and thanks to that $200 single speed road bike, I was able to do my first couple of triathlons. So lastly, to round out this last tip, I would say that as a beginner triathlete on a budget, I'd recommend you pay less attention to fancy bike brands and fancy bike components and focus more on getting a solid fit for the bike that's most financially within your reach. So those were my 5 tips to consider when buying your very first triathlon bike. I really hope that it helped you out in some way or another. I've used all of those tips when shopping for each of my 3 bikes. They've helped me save a lot of money, and I hope it does the same for you too. So that's all I had for today. If you liked this video or got any kind of value out of it, throw a thumbs up down there with the like button. It really helps the channel and get these videos out there into YouTube. Also subscribe if you haven't already so you don't miss on any cool videos. Check out the podcast, The Triathlete Beat. It's a podcast geared towards beginner triathletes, and I have some pretty cool athletes on the podcast as well. I'll link it up in the description below along with all of my social media links. Be sure to check it out, and I will see you in the next video. Peace. This can be a freaking red hair. Sorry. Where did that come from? Anyways, where was I? Oh, you're still here. Well, if you're interested in more beginner triathlon tips, click or tap the screen right here. And if you're interested in seeing some of my race vlogs, click or tap the screen right here. Peace.